it's interesting because like Aries, okay, it goes Aries and then Taurus, right? And you can think about it this way. So Aries is activity. It's activity. It's excitement. You know, daringness, recklessness, daring to dream. I don't know about daring to dream, but like, cause Aries is a very brave sign. You know, they're very daring like that, like the daredevil. You feel what I'm saying? And it's a sign that it's activity. You know, it's a sign that deals with activity. So Aries tend to be very active, but then like, yeah, but then like in the sign Taurus, it's like Taurus learned from Aries that it should be stable and it should be grounded. So it's like everything that Aries was, Taurus isn't. In the sense that Aries deals with aggression, things like violence, you feel me? Yeah. And things like going out into the uncomfort zone. But then Taurus deals with stability, being grounded, being strong, having a foundation, having a routine, you feel me? And being like, not modest, but like, not even fruitful. It's an F word, I think. Like, you know, when you're a sort of person who doesn't need much, right, to be happy and content, but you can live a simple life and be okay and fulfilled with it. Right? So like you're a type of person, you don't really need that much to be happy and content and fulfilled, right? But that doesn't mean you don't do that much, right? Because Sagittarius is a sign, as I mentioned earlier, that deals with enjoying oneself, you feel me? Diving into luxury. And Taurus also. Taurus deals with enjoying oneself, but through the senses, you feel me? As a Taurus, you're very sensual as well. And like, it's a whole trip, even just eating like a really, really, really nice piece of like food, you feel me? Or like touching something soft, you know, or like hearing good music, you feel me? These are all things that stimulate you the right way, if you get what I'm saying. And so Taurus is also a sign that rules money, right? And it deals with money. And so if you're having your moon in Taurus, you know, you have a natural desire to want to attract and accumulate money. You feel what I'm saying? And money finds itself natural to you. It's like Jupiter expands. It expands the wealth, the money that comes to you. But then Taurus makes sure that you have the necessary energies to get the money, if that makes sense. Like Taurus just deals with money, and it rules the energy of possessiveness, you feel me? And Taurus's thought trend is I have. Taurus like to have things, like to possess things, like to get things. And so with the moon in Taurus, this energy can even play out to an extent where you may be possessed. Maybe, what am I saying? Maybe. Like, with the moon being in Taurus, you know, you can be pretty possessive and clingy when it comes to like your relationships and your associationships and your friendships. Well, my bad, not your relationships, relationships, yes, but not associationships and friendships. Because the moon, it deals with the inner realm, as we discussed, right? The things that are close and personal to you. You feel me? Yeah. And so Taurus is also a naturally psychic sign, you feel what I'm saying? It's a sign that's pretty psychic. And so, even though an earth sign, it's a psychic sign. And this is because it's the first earth sign. So it's closer to spirituality than like Capricorn or Virgo. You feel me? Because like before this physical world existed, there was only spirit, right? And so, yeah, it's like the first signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. You feel me? These are signs that deal with like, they're more spiritual and they deal with the inner world. You feel me? And that reminds me to mention this as well. Aries and Taurus are not moved by the outside world, but they're moved by themselves, they follow the beat of their own heart. Yeah, they follow the beat of their own heart. You feel what I'm saying? And also with you having you having your moon in Taurus in the 5th house, right? The 5th house is a house that deals with offsprings. It's a house that deals with entertainment as well. But it's also a house that deals with like sex. You feel me? So it deals with like the sex life. So yeah, it's associated with offsprings, right? Because from sex you get offsprings. You feel what I'm saying? So first and foremost, people with the moon and when the moon goes into the 5th house, like I said earlier, the moon is what you react and respond to. So it's like a lot of energy of reacting and responding and emotion goes into the department of life that deals with the offsprings. You feel what I'm saying? With the children. Okay, Taurus, Venus. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, well, so you know, if you're having your moon in Taurus in the 5th house, it's like maybe not now, but and especially the Sagittarius and the Aries, they all check out that you are a person who enjoys to like party, like have fun, entertain yourself. You feel me? Because it's a sign ultimately that just deals with entertainment, right? And does things like partying also fall into that? But like, yeah. Moon in Taurus. All right, now let's look at your let's look at your Mars, right? Woof, you have your Mars and sheesh, that's crazy. All right, so your Mars is in the 8th house. So, and that's a good thing, but okay. So let's break it. Ooh, ouch. I just slipped. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, obviously you've seen it. All right, so first and foremost, Mars is the planet that deals with one's executive ability. It deals with your drive, your ambition, how you execute. It's a planet of aggression. You feel me? So yeah, that's what Mars is. It's like your willpower. You feel me? And so if you're having Mars in Cancer, in the 8th house though. So with Mars being in Cancer, first and foremost, Mars is debilitated in Cancer, right? So you have all these exaltations, but then you have Mars debilitated. So Mars rules Aries, and your Sun, which is in Aries, is keyed to the energy of Mars. You feel me? It's like Aries is the masculine expression of Mars. So wherever Aries goes, Mars has a sympathetic vibrational link to it, you know, a resonance. Because Mars is Aries, you feel me? Like it's the masculine expression of Aries. So thus when the Sun goes into Aries, the Sun is tuned and keyed to Mars. So you have your Sun keyed and tuned to Mars, but then like your Mars is debilitated. Okay. So I mean, this is not a bad thing, you feel me? This is not a bad thing because we live in the modern age, you feel me? And it's like you don't really need aggression like that nowadays, you feel me? So when Mars goes into Cancer, this makes for people that are lovers, you feel me? They're very they're lovers. And so Aries, all right, this is just raw Aries energy. Aries doesn't care, you feel me? It's a savage, we will say, you feel me? So you do have those energies dormant within you, you feel me? But then Cancer cares. It is I care, you feel me? It's all about feeling emotions. I feel is Cancer's thought trend, you feel what I'm saying? And earlier when I was explaining the 4th house and the 1st house and how they square each other, so the 1st house is ruled by Aries and the 4th house is ruled by Cancer, you feel what I'm saying? So let's break down what this means when Mars goes into Cancer. When Mars goes into Cancer, these are people that may find themselves, in a sense, lacking a backbone, you feel me? Like, they're not so aggressive and they don't really like confrontation. They'd rather be in their comfort zone and be safe and be at home, you know, and be in their comfort zone. You feel me? These are people that like, yeah, these are people with Mars in Cancer. These are people that in a sense like to play it safe. You feel me? But so Mars, it also signifies like your weapons, right? Like your weapons. And so with Mars and Aries energy, my bad, with Mars and Cancer energy, your weapons aren't like swords, but they're like your ability to like negotiate and like persuade and be good with people. You feel me? Cancer is a sign that it deals with emotions and feelings, and Cancer has an ability to invoke emotions and feelings within other people. You feel me? So it's like from that end, right? Like you, and so this is a setting, my bad, not a setting, but this right here is where like this is where like I feel like the business life is perfect for this placement, to an extent. You feel me? But yeah, so I say that to say that because like, yeah, Mars and Cancer, they're more like persuasive, and they more deal with like negotiating and keeping the peace and keeping the harmony. You feel me? They don't want confrontation, they don't want problems, and they try to avoid problems and issues as much as they can. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that's very much the Mars and Cancer. So Mars deals with strife, right? It's a planet of strife and hardship. And so with you having Mars and Cancer, Cancer is a maternal sign. It's ruled by the moon, right? And it deals with family. And Mars is the planet of strife, hardship. And you also have Cancer in the 8th house. So this is an indication that familially speaking, right? Even though your whole life there's been a lot of energy invested into family, it's like that has been a place in life where there has been a lot of strife, a lot of hardship, a lot of hardship, you know, and a lot of needing to so the 8th house, it deals with like accumulated trauma. You feel me? It deals with like the past, but it deals with other things as well. But in this sense, to make its significance, we'll talk about the past. So Mars in my bad, Cancer in the 8th house, this is energy like where ultimately when it comes to the family department, there is shadow work that needs to be worked on and done. There are certain traumas that need to be revisited and worked through. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that. You know, and Mars, my bad, not Mars. The 8th house also deals with death, and it deals with hidden enemies and all these other things. But and it also deals with psychicism. You feel me? So ultimately, with your Mars being in the 8th house in Cancer, you have natural psychic spiritual abilities. You feel me? Yeah, you have spiritual abilities because the 8th house is a very psychic house as well. And like I said earlier, Mars deals with your weapons. So your weapons are not physical, but they're more spiritual, and they can be more mental, and they can be more emotional. You feel what I'm saying? And the 8th house also deals with like manipulation and deception. You feel me? But yeah, I'll leave it at that. So, alright, so the way that I do these readings, right? So when I'm doing the astrology birth chart, of course, I'm revealing the things within the birth chart. But then I also, it's funny because I feel like I need to produce the solution to this, and I do and I can, but this reading is separate. You feel me? But I also offer alchemy sessions, right, where I teach people mental alchemy, because this is so relevant, and if you probably resonated with it, because the birth chart reveals to you thought constructs within your mind. You feel me? Thought constructs within your mind. So the birth chart is a map of your mind, you know, and it helps you understand the different energies within the different departments of your life, but it's ultimately mental. So mental alchemy helps you learn how to recondition those beliefs, recondition those thoughts, recondition those ideas. You feel me? And so then it can express differently, and it doesn't have to express the way that your birth chart says it will. It does. You feel me? But yeah, yeah. Sun and Aries energy. Like with your Sun and Aries energy, I also want to touch on what I talked about with Mars. Like although Mars in Cancer is debilitated and they don't like confrontation, like the Sun and Aries energy, if it needs to, it will. But again, you have your Sun and Aries in the 4th house. So a lot of your like energy, right, is invested into the family life. So even your aggression and like your passion is invested into the family life. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not like yeah, so you're probably a person who likes to keep themselves very solo dolo, right? For the most part, solo dolo for the most part. Okay. But yeah, so I would say that pretty much concludes this reading for you. I would love to do a full birth chart reading for you. So this is the donation-based reading. Pretty much like a taste, of what I have to offer and my skills. And so in the full reading, I take the time, to study the chart and look at where everything is at to the degree. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's important. Because you have like your, for example, Aries. There's 3 deacons of Aries. There's the deacon of exaltation, the deacon of activity, and the deacon of propaganda. And depending on when you were born in Aries season, that energy will express slightly differently. It's so Aries, so I could get away with just talking about Aries generally, but in the full reading, I like to personalize it, because if you're a person who's an Aries but you were born in the first 10 degrees of Aries, then you would resonate more with the deacon of activity than anything else. You feel me? But yeah, so I do take the time to take the notes, and then once I take the notes and everything, I do recordings, right? And so the reading in of itself is 3 hours long, right? Because that's how long it's at the moment taking me to complete everything and help you understand everything within your birth chart. And it comes in a recorded format, right? And it's only $90. You feel what I'm saying? And so that value, right? If you do the math, you'll see that like that's definitely an amazing offer that I'm offering. And I'm primarily offering it such a high value for such a low price because I'm working with a formula, if that makes sense. Like I created a formula for these readings, right? Which I'll be doing the notes. Like I created a formula for these readings that helps me read everything in the chart. Like it used to be hard for me to cover everything in the chart because astrology is so crazy, right? Because there's a lot. But now I have a formula where I can cover everything in the chart. And yes, that's why I'm doing it at the low prices, because once I'm 100% concrete in that formula, and yeah, then like I'll increase my prices. But yeah, I don't know. If you'd be interested in a full reading, let me know. But yeah, peace. Also let me know what you thought about this reading. I enjoyed it. Alright, peace, my friend.